It's me, Neely, your host of Intentional Oversharing. It has been a minute since I've checked in with y'all. I've been very busy on LinkedIn and being overwhelmed by life and current events. No surprise there. But I haven't been as, diligent about these podcast episodes in the last few weeks, and I'm doing a lot of reflecting on that. So get ready to hear me process some of that out loud to you. So a couple of weeks ago, I recorded a podcast episode with a guest named Lucy. I haven't finished editing that episode yet. I actually don't think that there will be a lot of editing necessary, but I'm just it's a bit of a lengthier one. I think I'm feeling some even though I know that Lucy is she's great and will be happy with however it turns out, I'm just feeling pressure to make it perfect. So whatever, I'll get it done. It'll be done. And then you'll get to hear Lucy and I chat about bullshit. I'll make that happen, I promise. But part of my reflection, trying to figure out why I am struggling lately to kind of show up and be consistent about this. Part of that I've realized is I'm just my whole setup over here with recording when it comes to the camera setup. Right now I'm using my MacBook Pro. The camera's not great. I've also used my Google Pixel phone as a webcam to record these. Neither of those turn out very good. And I've recently became slightly obsessed with Caroline Winkler's YouTube channel. I'm feeling very inspired by some of her interior design stuff, the way that she records, the way she edits. I like it. And so it's making me feel more drawn to kind of upgrading my setup. Not just so that it's a better experience for the viewers, for you guys, but it's also I need an easier setup. I really wish that I could show you guys how chaotic things are whenever I'm recording in here. Right now I have it as bare bones as I possibly can. So I don't have a fucking ring light set up. I don't have I'm not using my phone as my camera. There's normally there's so many cords everywhere. I can only record while I'm sitting at my on my couch, because there's really no realistic I can't set up elsewhere. I can't do it outside, blah 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 blah, blah whatever. So I'm exploring other cameras. I'm exploring other mic situations. And so we'll blame some of my kind of disappearing on that. And then also I've just been, I don't want to say going through it, because honestly I've been mostly okay, but yesterday I did a lot of really necessary crying. I got a lot of emotions out. I wrote about this on LinkedIn, so you might have read that post, but I needed to get that out. I realized that I had been kind of holding a lot of it in, which doesn't help anybody, and it's gonna come out in other ways if I don't let myself feel things, right? So I do feel a lot better. I feel a little bit more energized today after getting a lot of emotion and catastrophizing out of my system. So if you're needing permission to just feel your fucking feelings, I'm giving it to you right now. I promise. It might suck while it's happening. You might hate it while it's happening, but we have to do that. We have to, trust me, we have to. Anyway, so something else I wanted to, consider this like a check-in. I don't want this to be a super long episode because I want to just be able to like edit it and post it like I've been doing and not overthink it. But something else that I wanted to just share with y'all is that a couple of weeks ago, I was with my wife. We were taking our pets, our dogs, on a walk, and it was beautiful outside. This is like the time of year where it's actually kind of nice in Texas. It's kind of like it's hard to predict what the weather's going to be like. Like our nights right now are pretty cold, and during the day it's like in the 80s Fahrenheit. So that's a little bit weird, but there have been like actual really nice times throughout the day to like go on a walk, be outside, really enjoy the weather. And this is pretty rare for Texas. At least in the parts of Texas that I've lived in, it's like when it's the winter, it's super cold and really uncomfortable, and we're usually not very used to it. And then during the summer, it's like over 100 degrees Fahrenheit all the time, like constantly miserable. Hate it. Sucks. Anyway, so what I'm getting at is that the weather being nice right now is rare. Okay. That's relevant to the rest of this story. So I was talking to my wife, and we were, trying to enjoy the weather. And I just got this really kind of like this like profound, almost like sadness, like definitely akin to like feeling depressed while we were outside. And I realized that feeling was very familiar to me, especially when the weather is nice. So we're talking like when the weather's between like 60 and maybe like high 70s Fahrenheit. I tend to, when I'm spending time outside, I tend to like, I don't know, just get really sad, and it just takes over my entire system. Hi, Goldie. And so this happened again. And this was one of the first times that was happening this year, since the weather's been nice. And I started reflecting on that a bit. I was like, okay, this seems to happen, especially since I've been with my wife. We just hit our 8-year mark of being together. And so especially since I've been with my wife and I've been doing a lot of this self-reflection and stuff, I've noticed this trend where when the weather is beautiful, I'm not having a good time. So I just happened, whatever day this was that we went on this walk, and I had this realization. I happened to have a therapy session with my therapist that evening. So she and I do internal family systems, or IFS, work together, and we do EMDR. And we've been doing some more of like heavy shit because I've kind of like really developed some really good ways of like self-soothing and like regulating my emotions and like doing like reframes in the moment about how I'm feeling. So I haven't needed to like lean on her as much for that stuff. So now we're like working on like some like some deeper shit and like focusing on that. So I brought this up to her, and she was explaining how like it seems like maybe my body has like a memory of a time in my life where when the weather was nice, and maybe this like depression feeling or this sadness feeling that comes over me, maybe that's my body remembering that. Maybe there's like some trauma there for us to explore. So we did some IFS exploration, and what was really like interesting is I was able to reconnect with the 14-year-old version of myself. The 14-year-old version of me experienced a lot. That's not like when shit started to get intense for me. For me, that was probably, I don't know, there are different parts in my childhood that stand out. But anyway, so around 14, I had already been experiencing depression for at least 2 years at that point. I had already been drinking somewhat regularly, like alone by myself. I had been self-harming. I'm going to say trigger warning, but I'm also not going to like get into specifics about anything. So like, I'm just going to say the things that I went through, but I'm not going to like tell you specifics. So not an intense trigger warning here, but I was self-harming at the time I was drinking. And I used to, after school, one of my safe space, one of my like happy places was, at the time, was this swing set that my mom had built that was in our front yard. I always loved swinging on swing sets. It makes sense that it turns out I'm autistic. And so that's like vestibular motion is a thing. I won't get into that right now, but I loved swinging on swing sets, jumping on trampolines, that kind of thing. So I would get home from school and I'd bring my Walkman with like burned CDs from emo bands that I was listening to at the time. I was listening to a lot of like My Chemical Romance. I still listen to them, and that kind of stuff. And so I would like take my Walkman out there and listen to sad music and watch the sunset. And it was like gorgeous outside. I was fucking sad, but it was gorgeous outside. So I think what we realized is that over time, my like body, whenever it would be nice outside, it was reminded of all of these times where I would try to escape my depression by being outside in the nice weather. So it kind of flipped. It's like now, instead of associating nice weather with feeling good and it helping me to feel better, it was like the opposite. Now being in nice weather was making me feel bad. What the hell? Anyway, so where was I? So as we're doing this IFS exercise, I realized that there was a part of me that was trying to keep me from getting closer to the 14-year-old version of me. So I'm like in my mind palace, right? I'm like imagining this going on. So I'm like standing near the swing set. My 14-year-old self is listening to music on the swing. And then there's this part. It's like a faceless part, a protector part of mine that comes out. And I don't know who it's supposed to be or who it represents, but that doesn't really matter. And so I was like, that part of me was like, you can't, like, basically playing bodyguard. Like, it was just like, you can't talk to her, like, leave her alone. Basically, she's minding her own business, mind yours. And I got this feeling that maybe that part of me didn't fully realize who I was. So, and my therapist helped me to realize that. So my therapist was like, can you ask this part who it thinks you are, or like how old it thinks you are? And immediately the part was like, you're 37. I know that. By the way, I'm not 37. I've never been 37, not yet. I'm 34. So that was odd. And immediately I thought, I wonder if this part thinks that I'm my mother, because my mom has always had, my whole life, she's had short hair. So whenever my hair is short, which whenever I was 14, my hair was long and curly. And so whenever my hair is short, I look spitting image of my mom. It's undeniable. If she and I are out together, people are like, you guys are fucking related. There's no denying it. So, so what I think happened is this part saw me with short hair, being older and in my 30s, and just thought that I was my mom. And 14-year-old version of me wasn't having that, but didn't want my mom to come like bother her. Sorry if that was loud. Didn't want my mom to come like bother her, right? So this part was protecting the 14-year-old version of me. So I reassured this part, hey, I'm actually 34. I'm actually Neely from the future. I'm just here to like check in. Like, is it okay if I go like get closer to her and talk to her? Immediately this part in my brain was like, oh shit, my bad. I thought you were someone else. I didn't really like dig into that. I was just like, okay, it probably thought that I was my mom. So I was able to sit down on the swing next to my 14-year-old self. And at first she was like ignoring me, didn't want to talk to anyone. And I sat there and I kind of explained to her like who I was, why I was there. And she wasn't like looking at me or making eye contact, which isn't a surprise, but she like started to kind of soften a bit. Like she's like, oh, okay, so like you're not here to just tell me that I'm fucking up or that I'm like wrong or I'm ruining my own life or whatever. You're here to like be nice to me. And so I was like, I just sat with her a little bit and told her like, hey, it's okay to feel emotions. It's okay to cry if you're upset. So just a little bit more background around the age of 14 and earlier than then, I had really like started to suppress my emotions a lot. My emotions were like, I had been taught basically that my emotions were like a burden on other people. And so I just started to kind of to just suppress those. And they were, you know, just festering elsewhere in my body, basically. And so I'd become very numb by suppressing these emotions. And I'd really like leaned into my depression at the time. I kind of felt like depression was the only real like consistent friend that I had. It sounds really like sad when I put it that way, but that's literally how I felt. Like I saw depression as like the closest friend I had, the only thing I could count on. Okay. So me telling my 14-year-old self that it was okay to cry, to like get these emotions out, it was like a dam had broken. Like she started sobbing and I was like comforting her, and it was a really kind of like beautiful moment. So that was pretty cool. And then my therapist like encouraged me to ask the 14-year-old self if she wanted to see what life currently is like in the future for me, like now. And she was interested in seeing that. So in my mind palace, I took my 14-year-old self away from that swing set, brought her into my space here, showed her the RV a little bit. I told her that I was married to a woman, which she was really excited about for whatever reason. And I just showed her like our space and told her about, you know, that I'd started a business and was finally learning to trust myself for like the first time in my whole life. And she just immediately seemed calmer, more like relieved to be away from that house, from my childhood home, away from the swing set, away from that time period that she had essentially kind of been like stuck in and like for like 20 years, you know? So then during this session, I started to kind of panic about the idea of sending her back there. I really didn't want to do that. So I asked my therapist in the session, I was like, do I have to send her back? Can she just stay with me? And she said, yeah, absolutely. If she wants to stay with you, if that's what she wants to do, like she can stay with you. So I asked her if she wanted to do that. She said, I asked my 14-year-old self if she wanted to do that. She said yes, without hesitation. And then my therapist guided us through kind of like releasing whatever my 14-year-old self needed to release to kind of come like stay with me into an element. So we were able to choose between like water, fire, earth, or air, and immediately chose the ocean. So in this mental exercise, we went to the ocean and she just was able to like release these feelings of numbness and hopelessness that she'd been like harboring for a long time. So that was a huge relief. And then she was able to come back to my current home with me and kind of, she can stay with me. And my therapist encouraged me to foster a relationship with this 14-year-old self, check in with her, blah, blah, blah. all of that. So I've been doing more of that. And what's cool about it is that, you know, a kind of hope, a side effect I was hoping for from doing this IFS exercise with my therapist was, you know, maybe I can actually enjoy nice weather again, because I haven't been able to in such a long time. And that weekend, after I'd had this session, my wife and I went to this park nearby, and we took the dogs, and I was actually like, I was way more present and able to like enjoy the scenery and able to like enjoy it and feel like mostly comfortable and safe for the first time since I can remember. Like, the weather was gorgeous and I was able to like actually enjoy it and not just be like ready to like retreat the whole time, ready to like go back home and be sad the whole time, like wallow in it. So that's fucking cool. That's a cool thing to come from that. And if that kind of wavers, or if it ebbs and flows, or if that like body memory comes back whenever it's nice outside again, that's okay. That doesn't mean that I haven't made progress. It just means, you know, that there might be some more exploration that can be done to try to process that, and get to wherever I'm trying to go with it. But I'll take it. You know, pretty solid. And it feels like huge progress already. I don't feel so disconnected from the teen version of myself, because for years and years, it's just felt like that was a totally like fragmented, separate part of me that I couldn't even relate to anymore. So there was this like weird animosity almost, or like distrust. And I just feel like we had like a breakthrough with that. So whatever, I'm enjoying it. I'm relieved by it and enjoying it for now. I feel like now we're getting to like know each other again. Me and my younger self. So I just wanted to share that. You know, maybe like an inside look into one of my therapy sessions. I feel like that going through that has helped me just to have more self-compassion and like patience with myself, and to recognize that like sometimes when these perceived like negative emotions show up whenever I don't expect them to, or I can't really understand why they're there, you know, maybe there's like an actual memory that's associated with that I need to process. Go figure. And then maybe processing that memory can help me to move past it and get some clarity moving forward. So I wanted to be sure to share that and kind of like document it, essentially. And also just to check in with you all. I hope that you're all doing okay. I am probably going to, maybe against my better judgment, I'm probably going to figure out a way to upgrade my little setup here so I can, maybe like vlog. Is that a thing that I'm going to do? I don't know. Maybe. I'm feeling very inspired to do that and just share more of my life than just me sitting on a couch, basically. So we'll see what happens with that. But I just felt like it was weighing on me not checking in with you guys and not like posting for several weeks. That just felt weird. I don't want to like lose the momentum that I've gained. And so coming out with a little bit shorter of an episode that hopefully I won't have to do a bunch of editing on, you know, baby steps, I'm making it happen. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I would love to hear how you guys are, you know, I don't know, maybe cultivating relationships with your inner child or your inner teen, how you guys are cultivating self-compassion. It's really important that we're doing that, especially while things are so difficult and uncertain in the world. We just have to be taking care of ourselves, because if we're not taking care of ourselves, how are we going to be there when other people need us the most? Like, that's going to be entirely too overwhelming at that point if we aren't actively prioritizing our own needs just as often as we can. So that means feeling your emotions when you need to feel them. That means taking, doing your whatever routines make you, like, help you to feel regulated. It's so easy to put that stuff off to the side and stop prioritizing it whenever we're overwhelmed by the news and stuff. And that's not, like, putting our own needs to the side is not helping the cause. Like, trust me on that, please. Oxygen mask, blah, blah, etc., etc. You get me. Anyway, I'm just going to end it right there. I have missed you guys. I've missed this. I'm not gone for good. I'm back. Here I am. Maybe you'll notice my videos getting a little bit more dynamic, or better quality. But anyway, it's nice to be back. Sending you all my love. And yeah, connect with me. Hit me up. Maybe I should start saying like and subscribe. Is that a thing that I should start doing? Let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe, or do whatever you want to do. Whatever. I won't tell you what to do. I'll never tell you what to do. Okay, this is going off the rails a little bit. Thank you for listening. As always, I appreciate you all. Love you. Bye.